There are many characters that exist within the multiple universes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, but in both of those universes, there are a few characters that were treated as bad by the author as Muhammad Avdall. Now you may ask me, how did Hirohiko Araki treat him bad? He killed him in a part twice. But oh no, we'll get to more later. But to start off, Muhammad Avdall was the first stand user within JoJo's Bizarre Adventures that we saw. That we actually saw their stand. And after that, he doesn't really do much of note. Like, in all seriousness, there's not really much of note when we look at the fandom page. And from my memory, I do remember him and Polnareff arguing a little bit before that, encounter where Polnareff got ambushed. But I also do remember, I'm pretty sure it was Avdol versus Polnareff. Yep, it sure was. And that fight was fantastic. I just went back and rewatched it in between cuts. You already know how it is. But from there, we get to the Hanged Man arc, where Polnareff does not listen to Avdol's advice, where he tells him do not go rushing in. Polnareff goes rushing in. He gets ambushed. And Avdol comes to save him. And that almost cost his life. But he survived, and the rest of the group knew, except Polnareff, as they felt like Polnareff's quickness to rush into action would just basically give Avdol away while he was severely injured and kill him. Which, again, that's fair. That's very fair. So we get this time where they go to his island, and he pretends to be his father, refuses to speak to Polnareff, and he just fakes like, I'm his dad. I don't know what happened. I'm mourning my son's loss while I tend to my family. It wasn't until Polnareff got attacked by a stand user who was, I'm pretty sure he was making people he loved out of clay. So he made Avdol, he made his sister, he made a lot of things out of clay. He could just make anything out of clay, I'm pretty sure. Really think about that for a second. You go to an island, you're on vacation, this random quote-unquote genie comes to you saying, oh yeah, I could grant any 3 wishes. You say, oh yeah, I want $1 billion. Bet. And you just see this big ass stack of money. You I just won the lottery. Until you actually try to spend that shit and the shit just dissolves, breaks down. It had to be hella traumatic for Polnareff because imagine you just saw your dead sister and your quote-unquote dead friend who you feel guilty that you quote-unquote killed him, because you kind of did. They're shown to you. You get to talk to them, all that. And then just like that, they start turning on you. Then they disappear. And that was a stand attack. I would be so pissed. I would be highly pissed and crying. Because what do you mean you just showed me all of my dead relatives as clay to try to kill me? Luckily, Avdol came in with the save. You already know. He's the GOAT. Even though he did about 10 things in part 3. And it's 48 episodes. After this, he did another key crucial point, which is as the Speedwagon Foundation to bring Iggy. Meaning he got them another member. Again, can we appreciate my GOAT really quick? I have to stop and appreciate everything we got because there's not much left that he did in this part. I'm not gonna lie. After that, they were attacked by Avdol, the water stand, where during that time, Avdol almost beat him. Believe it or not, if you remember that fight, at the start, Avdol used his handcuffs to try to emulate footsteps in the sand. But unfortunately, Avdol figured it out and injured Avdol, taking him out the fight. And finally, we're at Dio's mansion, where this is very funny because the conversation between Polnareff and Avdol actually ensued. And I'm going to include this conversation because it's one of the most important parts of both of their characters. Avdol told Polnareff he could not act as his bodyguard no more, and that he had to be more careful. And once they walk in, Avdol begins to detect vanilla ice. And as they continue walking, Avdol puts his hand on a pillar that reads these following words: "He who reads this carving and turns a back will perish." And what happened? Avdol turned around and his stand started to manifest. Cream manifested, and Avdol, with his last movements, pushed Iggy and Polnareff out the way because they did not know what was happening and was instantaneously killed. And to add insult to injury, his arms were eaten after the fact. Like, Cream came back, picked his arms up, and ate them. So why am I highlighting what Avdol did while this video is literally titled, Why Avdol Deserved Better? Because you can see through these actions that I'm telling you, he barely did anything throughout that 48 episodes. That was everything he did. There was probably a few minor stuff I missed, like him maybe bringing his stand out in defense of the group whenever they ran into a stand fight. I maybe missed that, and that's on me. But for a good portion of this story, he is not with the group. And it's for a reason that some people think is stupid and some people don't. It's because Araki did not like drawing him or his stand. Now, let me also say that is not the whole reason, I don't think. And I also don't think, when I look for references, all I could find was really, he didn't like drawing his stand. He didn't. I've never heard him say anything about Avdol necessarily, but I know he didn't like drawing his stand. If you look at the back of part 3 of Stardust Crusaders, volume 6, you would see him, he has a little writing that looks like this, right here. You would see him say that he found drawing Magician's Red a little difficult. But in that same section, he also admitted that he feels like he should have given Araki a slightly bigger role within the story. But he also said that he didn't think he would be as popular at the time, which is pretty fair. I don't believe Avdol's popularity charts were that high, but even still, Jesus, man. But that's really all I got for y'all. If y'all enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 5K, so anything helps. And until next time, peace.